Notice period. The time between your resignation and your last working day. This is considered to be the most critical aspect of anybody's career. Everybody has some question or another regarding their notice period. It is not easy, though there are rules and regulations regarding notice period that helps employees and employers to have a smooth transition. Still, a lot of people ask me a lot of questions about their notice period. So today I will take the questions from my comments section and I'll be answering them in this video. If you are looking for similar answers regarding your notice period, or if you've already resigned from a company and looking for a smooth transition, this video is for you. But before that, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to Careervues YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any of the weekly career tips. So without any further delays, let's get started to answering your all questions regarding notice period. Due to confidentiality, I'll be just taking the first names of the people who have commented on my videos. Maybe the answers or the solutions that I have provided them would help you as well in your career. I highly recommend watch this video till the end because there are very important aspects of notice period. So let's get started. So Mr. Reddy writes me that I have a notice period of 60 days. I have served 32 days of notice period. I told HR I can only serve the notice period of maximum 44 days. For the remaining 16 days, I'd like to buy. This is a very simple request made to HR. I have completed the handover process, but HR denies buying out option. They are telling me handover is not done. But when I actually requested my manager, telling him that I've completed the handover and I need to buy out, he simply denied. He said your handover is not done. And his reasoning was, I have not informed the clients that I'm leaving the organization. I have all the proofs that I have completed the KT process. Now my organization is threatening me that if you want to leave the organization, we will not provide you any documentation. But all their threats are verbal. They are not being mentioned on an email or in written anywhere. I'm really not feeling well. My health is getting affected because of this. I can't sleep. Can you please help? Yes, definitely I could help. The first thing is, the organizations like to play mind games with the employees. The moment you resign, my first suggestion is always keep all the documentation intact. It's very important that you back up everything and anything that you say. So here an employee is requesting that I have completed the handover, but organization is denying it. In this case, you should always have a proof or written emails regarding your handover. So what I recommended Mr. Reddy was to write a polite email and mark everybody who needs to be involved in that email, whether it's finance, HR, or the direct supervisor. You can write in an email that I have submitted my resignation on this date. My last working day would be this. It's clearly mentioned in my employment contract that I'm eligible to buy my notice period. I'll be buying the notice period from this date to this date. Please share the calculations for end of service. It is very important to mention that you have completed your handover. If required, create an Excel sheet. Mention what tasks are being handed over and on what dates and to whom. Attach the Excel sheet in that email. And lastly, request them the documentation required by you for completing the exit process. The most important tip during notice period is don't take anything said verbally. Always go by written emails. Now you must say, if we do this and HR or my manager doesn't respond, what do I do? Then you follow up on the same email. Send an email after a few days again on the same thread that I requested this documentation. Please assist me in making the handover process or my exit process comfortable for you and me both. Make sure your tone is polite. I know inside you might be feeling that I really want to bash this organization, I want to take out all my anger on them, but stay calm. It's not the time yet. Always focus on what results or what outcome you're looking for. Here, employee is looking for a buyout option with an early exit. So your focus should entirely be getting this result by hook or by crook. So being polite is the right way here. Let me move on to my next question. Mr. Wallet. He writes to me, can we take planned leaves while being on notice period? My answer is any employee is unfortunately not entitled for leave during notice period. You can only take few sick leaves if you have the medical certificate. There is no other leave entitlement during notice. Next question. So Mr. Sharma writes to me that my management has changed the exit policy. So my organization has changed the HR policy and just before one day I joined. So for that reason, my notice period is increased from 60 days to 90 days. In my current organizations, other people have the same grade, but the notice period is 60 days. My new organization has asked me to buy out the notice period. I have tried to buy out for 3 weeks, but HR manager is completely denying it. So if in this case, if they do not approve my notice period, shall I request the new HR to extend my date of joining due to that reason? What do you advise? So my first advice is, any organization cannot have different notice periods for different people. There is a single policy for the organization to abide all the employees working for a certain period of time during their notice. Now, what makes it legal? Whatever is mentioned in your contract at the time of signing, whatever you and your employer has signed in written is your notice period. If they have changed the notice period, they have to attach an annexure in all the employment contracts for all the employees that they have. No organization can every now and then change the notice period. So my answer to Mr. Sharma was, the applicable laws on notice period should be stated in the employment contract and signed by both the parties. Any changes in policy or contract has to be agreed on or signed again. So in your case, contract would abide 2 months notice as mentioned in your notice period. You can also buy it out if applicable. Do check your contract. I am not sure if the new or the future HR would agree on extension of date of joining because every organizations need employees right now. So it's worth trying, but at the same time, don't lose your chances. Make sure you go through your contract and put forward your request of an early exit based on whatever the clauses mentioned in your contract. So let's move on to the next question. I have resigned from my current company and new company is asking me to join in 15 days. Really? And new company is having a buyout option. Good. We are having 3 months of notice period and had a discussion with group manager, but they declined it, saying I have to serve the 90-day notice period. In my appointment letter, it is mentioned that the notice period for termination of employment on either side will be 3 months. When payment in lieu of notice is offered by the management or the employees, the notice pay shall mean only the basic salary and does not include cash equivalent of any allowances, etc. Payment in lieu of notice shall be subject to acceptance of the same by the company, considering unfinished tasks, projects, or handover in progress, etc. You shall not deemed to have been relieved of your services except upon issue of letter to that effect. Here the company is very smart. First of all, they have mentioned under what circumstances notice period cannot be buyout. Also, there is a clear clause that the allowance of buying out the notice by an employee has to be upon discretion of the management. So employee is not the only one who can decide to buy out and move out of the company. I would say in this situation, the company who is asking an employee to join within 15 days is not right. They have money they want to buy out. It's their outlook on a situation. But an employee who is working for an organization cannot give only 15 days for the replacement, for completing the handover. It's penalizing a poor employee. Also, I encourage people to be very clear during their interview how much is their notice period when asked. If you've mentioned during the interview that you have a 3 months notice period and they say we have to buy out, you have to try out your options in advance. You have to clearly talk with your organization that if buyout is possible or go through your contract. Here an employee needs to take a stand. Either stick to the regular notice or ask them to buy out, but whatever it is, if it is made clear during the interview, the future organization should not push an employee to leave within 15 days. But we all live in a realistic world where mess ups do happen. We tell something during the interview, it's heard or understood in a different way, or an employer thinks that if we are ready to buy out, why this employee is not leaving. I would highly recommend that in this case, if you have no other option but to leave within 15 to 20 days, ask them politely for an early exit and buyout option. This should be in a written email. Give them a week. Give them time to digest. They might outright say no. All you could do is try again after a week. In a written email, again requesting, offer whatever support you can. Because understand the employer's perspective whom you're working for. Suddenly all the work would stop. If you have liabilities, if you have obligations to give handover or to complete a certain projects, it's not professional to leave immediately and telling them that I've got a job, I'm leaving. Just try to step in your boss's shoe, how your boss would feel. Give them time to digest the bitter fact that you're leaving, which is for your good. You have to, of course, prioritize yourself first, but offer support wherever you can. So here this person asks me that I had a discussion with my company HR. They are saying if manager is not agreeing, they cannot apply for a buyout. My manager is not ready to give me notice period less than 1 day out of 90. The new company HR won't wait till 60 days. Please suggest me how to go ahead now. In this case, a lot depends on how your relationships are with your boss. Take him or her into confidence. Offer your replacement. You can also look at the leave balance that you have from your last year or the pending leaves, if that would help you to settle your notice. So make sure you check out all your options. So let's move to the next question. I have resigned from my job and my current company and I have to serve 3 months of notice period. But I have to join my new company 10 days before. So I have in total 80 days to serve, but 10 days I want to adjust. I asked my manager or HR for an early release. It's just 10 days. I am ready to buy out, but they are not agreeing for that. They want me to serve the complete 90 days notice. What a penalizing HR. It's just 10 days adjustment, and let me see what this gentleman has already tried. What should I do now? I have 23 outstanding leave balance, but they are saying I'm not eligible for leaves during my notice period. How can I use my outstanding leaves for 10 days early release? Or is there any other possibility for an early release? Please help me. I feel sorry for such situations when I see organizations clearly taking advantage of the employees. So what I responded to Naveen is, they are playing mind games. 10 days is nothing. 10 days could be easily adjusted with your pending leaves. It is your lawful right to adjust your pending leaves for the notice period. The employer should agree. If you politely request them through an email, ask them for the settlement through accrued leaves. It's legal to do so. Or check out the contract about resigning or buying back notice. You could always write an email requesting them what would be the amount if you want to buy time in lieu and have an early exit. But everything should be done on an email. Some companies do not have a buyback. But in his case, accrued leave could definitely be adjusted against the notice. So do check your legal rights before you approach your direct boss or HR manager. Now Mukul writes to me, "Hello ma'am, I'm struggling to get 90 days notice reduced. The clause mentioned is terminable by either party giving the other 90 days notice. The company may, however, reduce this notice period as its discretion by accepting paying basic salary in lieu. It would be possible to ask for buyout with this. What do you think? Yes, definitely. This clause clearly states that the employee is eligible to buy out the notice period. Also, it says the notice period could be reduced based on a mutual understanding of employee or an employer. So my response to this gentleman was, you can surely ask to buy back your notice as this clause is mentioned in the contract. Make sure to send a written request and it should be settled on your basic salary upon approval from the HR manager or your boss. Send a polite request and see how they respond. Sometimes it's the simple clauses that we are not sure of. I hope you found my answers to the questions regarding notice period useful. Let me tell you some of the basics about the notice period. Let's begin with the resignation. Once you resign, your notice period begins immediately. So whenever you send the resignation email, make sure it states your last working day and how much is your notice period. Never lie during an interview about your notice period. Be very clear, telling your future employer that how much notice period you have to serve. Without going into the panic zone, first always check your contract, what it has to say about your notice period. What are the clauses mentioned about serving the notice or buyback options? This would help you understand what are your legal rights. Always remember, management gets it as a shock when you resign from a company. They have so many questions in mind. How will we do now? What is the work pending? Who will be the replacement? So and so on. If you find them in a denial mode constantly, try again and again. Constant follow-ups definitely help. Money is not everything when it comes to notice period buyback. See what kind of a support you could offer your organization. Whether you could offer your replacement, you could assist them in completing a project timely, you could work overtime. We are not here to take revenge, but we always have to focus on the results. What do we want to do? How can we get an early exit smoothly? How could we maintain professional relationships with the current company and smoothly move forward to the future organization? There is no harm in getting in touch with your future HR, asking them what documentation they really need and what things are optional. I always recommend people who are in a very early career and have worked with an organization for a very less time to be prepared to eliminate an experience completely from their resume. If things are not working out, be prepared to remove the experience, to go legal, or to take professional advice when it comes to your legal rights. I would leave all the links of notice period videos that I have made in the description. Do check them out. They might be very helpful. On and off, I always answer people's question regarding notice period. What are their legal rights? If you have any question, feel free to post that in the comments. I'll be happy to answer those. Also check the links, don't miss them out. If you're watching Careervues videos for the first time, do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss any of the career tips. Stay tuned until my next video. Thanks for watching.